Welcome to MJIC Radio, the voice of the cannabis investment community.
Hey everybody, welcome back to MJIC Radio. I'm here today with Caroline Cahill, and we are interviewing Matthew Mills with MedX. How are you doing today, Matthew?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to have you on because we're kind of at this very interesting moment in time right before the show in San Francisco, which you'll be kind of playing a pivotal role for. And also because you guys are in the middle of like this amazing kind of historic raise on Startup Engine. And, the company's kind of really getting its legs right now. So can you tell me a bit more, first of all, about how you got into the industry, and then also just kind of generally about MedX?
Well, I got into the industry, I'm going to say on accident. Once I decided I was going to go into the industry, I pulled fellow investors that were been by my side for many years next to me to go after this industry because we saw some major needs in the industry. One of the things that we do as a company is we're a research and development firm. That's our first and foremost, with our first play in the research and development world, tackling the pesticide issue, which is a big thing going on in really every state, not just in Colorado, not just in Washington, not just in Oregon. But if there's medical cannabis in a state, it's very likely that there's pesticide problems. So that's really how I first got involved. I became in early 2014, I became a California licensed pest management applicator here in the state of California. And then that was for our Nature-Cide product to go into pest control. And then I was kind of pulled towards agriculture in Colorado because there were some questions being raised about our product, and it was approved for agricultural use in cannabis. And that's really kind of what pulled us into this. And then since then, we've not only become very well-versed in pest management, but we've also become very well-versed in supercritical extraction, along with the steps necessary to produce a really high CBD strain. And it's kind of morphed from there. There's a lot going on with our company right now. And this crowdfunding thing, it is giving us the legs necessary to carry out our mission. We've kind of built the platform for everything. And now we don't have any debt. We're still not drawing salaries as management. So really the money that we're bringing in here is going to be used to market the Nature-Cide product, including the new Nature-Cide soil that we've just produced. So it's definitely an exciting time, but at the same time, it's a big responsibility for us as the very first cannabis company to be in this crowdfunding position. We really got to make sure that we do things the right way. Everybody's watching us. Everybody's going to be critical of all the steps we take. So, a celebratory attitude is definitely not in our mindset right now. It's more of a responsibility to take this company to the next level in a very quick manner by using the capital that's come in from this crowdfunding campaign.
Now, Matt, as you guys go to that next level, you've got all these exciting things going on in developments. Who's on your team to help you get there to achieve your goals?
Well, we've got a really great team. My CFO, Ron Trzewski, he's a former Silicon Valley CFO, has run several publicly traded companies. His track record is unbelievable. Dr. David Toomey, our CEO, this is a medical professional that has really helped us understand a lot in the medical profession and how medical marijuana can really help patients in understanding the science there. Nick Phillips, who is our digital media manager as well as our editor-in-chief for the Marijuana Times. And then we've got a pretty good group of people around us that help me implement, such as in cultivation, such in pest control, and the management of that to be pushed out into the field. We are in a 30,000 square foot facility that our sister company has given us access to. free of charge. So there's very little overhead here. And that's given us the ability to move quickly and get things done. And this is how we're able to just get out there and start marketing almost immediately. I would say sometime in the second quarter, we're going to start marketing hardcore across the United States for the cannabis arena for cultivation.
Fantastic.
So Matt, I'm glad you kind of mentioned the responsibility factor in this, because anytime, so my background's kind of with potstocks.com, right? So I was monitoring a lot of the OTC and a lot of the small money investors that were really excited about the industry lost just so much money there. And that's part of my my reservations about Reg A are that, again, it's sort of like small money investors. I think, what is it? Your minimum investment's like, is it $500 through Start Engine?
It's actually $420 for 700 shares.
That's awesome. So that's it's simultaneously, it's this double-edged sword where it's awesome that small money investors can actually get involved in something at the ground level, and I'm excited to see where that goes, because I love seeing those investors make money, because on the OTC they just get slaughtered with high frequency trading, or pump and dumps followed by reverse splits and that kind of thing. But I think Reg A is kind of a great way forward for small money investors that want to get involved in the industry, and you guys are the first one. So let's say I'm an investor. How does the process work to actually do this?
Well, it's a pretty simple process, and I want people to recognize that, this is an investment. Regulation A Plus gives opportunity to everyone. It makes an even playing field for the wealthy and the middle class to participate in something that the middle class would normally not be able to participate in. I'm going to say this right out of the gate. Do your due diligence. When you're investing in the stock market, when you're investing in anything, do your due diligence. There's a lot of companies out there in the pod stock world that, they've lost a ton of money, and people have lost, a great deal of capital. And these are small money investors, $10, $20, $15,000, $5,000 investments. And I think it's very important to really look at your management team, understand the burn rate that's happening with the company. And that's where the reason we're having investors come on board in a very quick manner is because none of us as officers and directors of this company are drawing any capital from the company. We've been doing this for 2 years. I haven't taken a dime from the company. I've used property that belongs to me to build a patient lab that allows us to really do our research and development. And, there's a lot of companies out there that have a big burn rate. I've been to a lot of these functions. I've looked at a lot of these companies, and when you see, hey, we need to raise $3 million and 60% of that money is going to salaries, you got to look at yourself, scratch your head, and go, wait a minute, where's the skin in the game? So what I did is, the founder of this company, I used to own 100% of this company. What I did is I recruited some of the top talent around me, Dr. Toomey, Ron Trzewski, Nick Phillips, our attorneys, and said, hey, guys, I'm not going to pay you any money. I'm going to give you a nice stock certificate, and you're going to work by my side until I get the revenue ramped up here. Once we have revenue ramped up, then we'll start bringing salaries to the table. But our focus right now is to bring revenue to the table via our Nature-Cide full product lineup, as well as ramping the Marijuana Times, which is our brand. And a lot of people, have said this to me: you're not going to make any money on the media play. And that's where I just, I'm not going to say a lot in regards to that on a face-to-face, but the people that are saying that are wrong. There is no place right now. All of the social networks, with exception of Massroots, are starting to veer away from allowing any marketing whatsoever going on at the social network level. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of places where marijuana or cannabis-based companies can advertise to bring people up to speed on what they're doing. And this is what the Marijuana Times is going to be all about. It's not just about stories. It's going to be a full video portal. There's going to be a lot going on at the Marijuana Times. And currently, we're driving about 45 to 50,000 eyes a day.
That's awesome.
To the Marijuana Times, it's bigger than most that are out there. This is going to ramp up over the next 3 months as we've started the build out. We should be completed with the build out and take this thing to the next level. And this is going to be a worldwide platform. This is going to drive a lot of capital. It's going to drive a lot of revenue, just like the Nature-Cide positioning will. And then, you know, one of the other things we're doing, and Chris, you know this, and this is why I'm sitting on that panel. My focus is to start buying up the companies or partnering with companies that have good revenue, that need help, that don't have the ability to raise capital. This $15 million offering is just the beginning. We're in talks right now with a couple of the different new Regulation A platforms that could give our investors liquidity. And we are headed in that direction. It's my focus here to bring into our town $50 million and create jobs along with helping boost our economy. This Jobs Act was put in place for that reason, and the cannabis industry needs a lot of help, and taking these two and putting them together is a huge responsibility. And there's not many companies out there in the cannabis space that, you know, has been around for 2 years where management isn't drawing salaries and letting everything build up on the bottom line. So we've definitely got a unique position here as a management team in a company, unlike any other company that's out there in the cannabis space.
That's for sure. And also, I guess one of the tangible products you have, the Nature-Cide product. Could you give me a little more details about that? Who's using it, why, et cetera?
Well, this is a cultivator's product. This product has been around for quite some time. We actually registered it in 2014 with all 39 states that require registration at the EPA level. And we started testing the product. The product has been tested hardcore in pest control. It's been tested hardcore in cultivation. It's been tested hardcore in hospitality. In pest control and hospitality, the product is making its mark. It's got major distribution by its side. And now we're getting ready here. We're in talks right now with a couple of very large entities in distribution, not just on the pesticide side of this thing, but also in the world of growing mediums. We've developed a growing medium that's unlike anything else out there. It is a product that we now have a patent pending on. We filed for patent protection on this insecticidal soil product. It is a soil that is probably the best of everything when it comes to a growing medium. And, this has been tested and tested and tested, not only in our cultivation lab, but with other cultivators. And we are going to make a splash. We've been giving out a lot of free product, doing a lot of testing in the field. And now we're going to go out with a splash. We're going to spend, a great deal of capital marketing this, making sure that all cultivation, all pest control, all hospitality, trade magazines are swamped. We're really going to go at this thing, and this is going to drive revenue along with, acquiring companies that have the similar type of a position that we are looking to have in the future.
Just a quick question about the pesticide. So let's say, someone's a new grower. Why should they be concerned about organic pesticides?
Well, hey, the pesticides that are being used right now, we've actually got a report that's going to come out of the Marijuana Times showing the pesticides that are being used regularly. They're poisonous. It's a lot different than putting, poisons on vegetables or produce. Vegetables and produce, you can wash, you can clean. You can't really do that with cannabis. Cannabis is something that it absolutely needs an organic matter type of pesticide. If you use our Nature-Cide product, you can spray it right on the plant. We actually have some video on this where you spray it right on the plant, of course, out of the sun or out of the light, in the shade while the plant's cool. You can spray it directly on, kills things like spider mites, white flies, caterpillars. I mean, you pretty much name it. It kills on contact. Once you're done treating, you leach it out with a spray bottle of water, let it dry, and you're brand new. Put it right back under the lights, and you've just treated your plant. Now with the soil product that we've developed, it's become a much more easy to keep the bugs away. And let's be frank. Most of the time, when you're in a cultivation lab, you're either bringing it in on the plant or you're bringing it in on the equipment, like CO2 bottles that came from another grow that might have spider mites on it. Great product, Nature-Cide, to use on anything coming in. You can use it daily. It's super, super clean. It's so safe. You can use it every day. And that's unlike any other pesticide that's out there in the normal world. Yes, there's other pesticides that are green, but this has a name, it has a long standing, and it's really making it in pest control. So why not push it over into the cannabis world? The reception we're getting there is pretty dramatic, to be frank.
That's outstanding. So I'm also on I'm on your website right now. If you go to medx-rx.com for our listeners, it'll take you to the Startup Engine portal. And that gives a really clear vision of the company that Matt's discussing here. It also allows you to invest on the website, which is amazing. But so Matt, I think it's fairly clear what the 2016 strategy is. Can you give me? We only got a couple minutes to commercial here. Can you give me basically the short and sweet summary of what 2016 for MedX looks like?
2016 for MedX is a third and fourth quarter revenue flow from the Nature-Cide products, as well as the Marijuana Times, and the beginning of our acquisition process of companies that are out there that are looking for capital. This is our focus for 2016. In 2017, we expect to bolster our growth in all areas, become a profitable business in late 2017. And in 2018, we think that we're going to see some changes that will allow us to step into the cultivation arena. That is our long-term plan. Right now, bringing revenue to the plate as a short-term plan to take the company to the next level, and strive to get to the public markets. That is what we're really planning on, a secondary offering and then move to the public markets. But time is going to tell on that one.
Sure.
We're going to work hard like the other Regulation A company that just launched. They're doing very well out on the OTC, and we're very excited to see this type of focus moving forward.
Great. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be back with Matthew Mills of MedX, and we're going to pick your brain a little bit more. I kind of want to know about your business philosophy, and kind of pick your brain in that way. So stay tuned. MJIC Radio will be right back.
Join MedX as we take the cannabis industry by storm. Under new regulations, you can now get in on the ground floor of the world's most innovative startups. By innovating all natural products, MedX will provide safe and healthy cultivation practices and education to the emerging $3 billion cannabis industry. MedX. Educate, innovate, cultivate. Reserve your shares today at www.medx-rx.com.
Welcome to MJIC Radio, the voice of the cannabis investment community.
Hey everybody, welcome back to MJIC Radio. This is Chris Gromek with Caroline Cahill, and we're here today interviewing Matthew Mills of MedX. Thanks again for joining us, Matt.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So we just talked about the company kind of top down. What I like to talk about with successful entrepreneurs in the industry is really kind of dig down into like your core values, your core business philosophy, and kind of discuss that. I think it's pretty clear on MedX that you guys have like a very clear core values kind of statement. I mean, educate, innovate, cultivate, and it doesn't need to get more complicated than that. Can you tell me kind of how you arrived at that and what your sort of entrepreneurial philosophy is?
Well, I mean, that's a great question, and it's taken us, I'm one of these guys that, doesn't take shortcuts. So I'm going to just put it out there that, if you want to get into this industry, and you're thinking of raising capital, and you're thinking of just rushing through it, it's probably a good idea to take a step back, look at what your vision is, and plan accordingly. It's taken us 2 years to get here, and it wasn't free. It cost us a great deal of money to put together this Regulation A+ offering, and getting all the people next to us to get it done. Our attorneys, our management team, this is hours and hours and hours of drilling down, making sure that, we did things the right way, and getting the SEC filings. And, a lot of people are asking us, in the media right now, hey, we want this, we want that, such as projections and whatnot. It's like, look, I can't give them to you. We've made a commitment, and if we do that, we're going to have to stop our process of raising capital and do another filing. So it's the responsibility on this thing is huge, and as a professional, it's just not taking shortcuts and really sitting on the bench and waiting your turn, and doing things the right way. Shortcuts lead to disaster in growing any business, let alone in the cannabis industry or any other industry.
Matt, you say, it's definitely a huge responsibility that you're undertaking, but I'm just curious, from a story perspective, what was the moment like when MedX found out that it had first qualified for the Regulation A+ offering?
Well, I got to tell you, it was a tedious wait. I'm a very emotional guy when it comes to stuff like this, and it was. It was a relief, it was exciting, and then it just hit me that, it's more responsibility than I think I've ever had. I've never been, I was part of the .com upbringing, and did very well in the .com upbringing, unlike a lot of companies that fell alongside of us. So it was an immediate focus of excitement, and then it just hit me that, hey, wait a minute, slow down a second. Let's just wait a second here. Let's not celebrate. Let's celebrate when we start driving real revenue. Then we can start celebrating. Right now, I've got a responsibility making sure these dollars are spent correctly. I've got a responsibility to our community as the cannabis industry. I've got a responsibility to the Jobs Act. And I'm going to hold those responsibilities very close to myself and our team. We certainly couldn't be here without these new rules that have come into place, and given the ability to follow those rules and get this opportunity. This is a big opportunity, and it's also a big responsibility, and that's how we're looking at it. So it was exciting, but it made me really do an about face when I started to get too excited.
I guess for some, that could be a lot of pressure. Is there anything you do to sort of keep yourself grounded and calm about it?
I've got a really good family unit, and our staff here is awesome. Everybody really cares about each other. So, we have a gym here at our office. That's a good place to, get rid of the steam. We live in sunny California, so, getting outside, and spending time, outdoors can usually get rid of any stress that I have. I have a pretty good life. I've had a lot of success, and got some incredible people around me. So, it's stressful, but, nothing more than anything else that, goes in life, having children, being, married, it's the same kind of stress.
Right.
Do you find, and if you can't think of anything right off the bat, that's fine. What was do you think like your most challenging moment in kind of building the company up to this point?
The FINRA and the SEC, I got to tell you, the SEC side of things was, pretty easy. I mean, we really got through that quickly, and really easily, because our attorney was just spot on with the filings. But getting through the FINRA process was a pain. Our market maker, our FINRA representative, put us through the gamut. And I mean the gamut, and that was probably the hardest part. structuring it, getting our PR firm in place, and working with Start Engine, that part of the process was pretty simple. It hasn't really been too hard, but normal, work hard. In other words, all good things have their price. And if you're willing to work for them, you can have them.
Well, I think it's pretty evident that you guys have worked very hard to get to this point. So I want to thank you for what you're doing. First of all, just being in the industry takes quite a bit of bravery at this juncture, I think. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the mentorship you're providing for people in the industry, as well as just the kind of quality products you guys are putting out there. So we are just about out of time, but I would encourage everybody, first of all, go to marijuanatimes.com. That is their media platform. Outstanding piece of work there. Great information in the industry. Also go to medx-rx.com to actually check out how you can invest in this company. You can go there and actually invest today. It's as easy as clicking a button. It's amazing. And Matthew, I'd also like to thank you for coming next week. You're going to be at the California Cannabis Business Expo, sitting on our CannaPitch panel, among other things. So again, very much appreciate what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate being here. I appreciate knowing you guys. You guys have been an intricate part of our growth, and been with us almost since day one. So I appreciate that, and I want to just take the time as we say goodbye on this, is just thank the shareholders who have participated in our project. We certainly couldn't be where we are today without all of our shareholders. And my focus here as the founder of this company is to bring revenue and bring work to this company and work to the next level. So it's a very grateful time in our management team, and we're here to get this job done. And now it's time for us to go get some of this revenue and ramp this thing and show our investors that we really care about the community in the cannabis world, as well as the jobs that we can create. It's an exciting time, and our responsibility is taken very seriously. Thanks for having me, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And a quick correction, it's marijuanatimes.org, not .com, my bad. So we will see you next week, and for all of our listeners, be sure to tune in next week. We're going to be doing some broadcasts from the show. Thank you guys for all your support. Thank you for listening. This is MJIC Radio, Chris Gromek and Caroline Cahill here with Matthew Mills, and we'll be right back.
Join MedX as we take the cannabis industry by storm. Under new regulations, you can now get in on the ground floor of the world's most innovative startups. By innovating all natural products, MedX will provide safe and healthy cultivation practices and education to the emerging $3 billion cannabis industry. MedX. Educate, innovate, cultivate. Reserve your shares today at www.medx-rx.com.